want you guys to go support Piston Mike. Y'all go to the subscribe button. He have 480 right now. Let's get him to 1,000, 100,000, 500,000, million subscribers as soon as possible, bid. Let's help him put it down. Make sure you go over there and subscribe. If you like the Pistons, you want to support me, think about sending me a donation. Best way you can help me right now is go subscribe over to Piston Mike and go help him get his numbers up, putting in work, hard work, smart work, dedicated work, consistent work. So make sure you go over there and appreciate that work. So remember, the name is Piston Mike, and I have a link in the description. If you have a problem finding it on YouTube, it'll be under source link or Piston Mike channel link in the description. Peace. All right, man. Word on the streets is that the Detroit Pistons rejected the Los Angeles Lakers offer for Jerami Grant. Let's talk about it real quick. I plan on doing another live stream tomorrow. All right, so I plan on tomorrow. So y'all been supporting them. So I want to give y'all about, depending on the topic, about three, 4 a week. And if I support those 3 or 4 of his Lions, Pistons, or power stream I miss the Lions and Pistons together. So we could do one Monday through Friday. I'll support that. We could do one Monday, Sunday, do Saturday. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about the support. You know, what y'all support is what I'm gonna give y'all. All right. And I know you kind of hit that low in the summer and all that type of stuff. You feel me? So I know I kind of talk a little bit more about what's going on around greater Detroit, Metro Detroit area, Michigan, whatever going on, Michigan State, Michigan. Did the Amani Bates video, which, I said I really don't have no disdain for Michigan State basketball, but it's mostly the football team. But that's tough. That's tough about Amani Bates. Check the video out, what he said about Tom Izzo. If you can't find, I just did it. Had to be yesterday or Saturday. It was yesterday, I believe it was. Let me double check. Yeah, it was yesterday. It was, yeah. So you can check in the archives. Just if you searching for a topic I said to prove me wrong or to double check what I said it is, put the username in, this is the channel name, Motor City Sports Talk, then put the name in. So that's why I try to label my video so I can find them in the archives. You feel what I'm saying? So but yeah, okay. So they rejected the deal. That's been going around. Obviously, they should have rejected the deal. The only attractive thing about it was the 2027 draft pick. I mean, like I said before, it's hard to how can I say it? It's hard to forecast. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to forecast, what actually is going to happen. All right. It's hard to forecast that in anything in sports, but it is, assuming or being optimistic about 2027 draft pick, the Lakers could be at the top of the draft, at that time. Because it doesn't appear AD can lead a team. AD on the way. It don't appear AD can carry a team. But then again, you always got the ace in the hole. LeBron move on or whatever. Retire, what it may be. What's the chances of Bron and AD in 2022 playing all the way to 2027 being championship contender? Something to none. But the Lakers always had a league. The league always mostly had a Laker back and Boston Celtics back, except for something like, the Chris Paul situation where, if you didn't know, Mark Cuban and then Gilbert complained and wrote a letter, and that's why the trade was vetoed allegedly. So let's something like that. They could be rebuilding. They could be a high lottery pick, but to wait that long, it's like what, 5 NBA seasons around there. I mean, it's a risk. It's a risk that I'm gonna need to unprotected, and I'm gonna need your 2028 because most of their draft pick was traded for Anthony Davis. All right, so I mean, at the end of the day, it was the right thing to do. You reject it, it's there, and if that's the best deal, and you feel like you got to trade Jerami Grant by the trade deadline, you take it. But that shouldn't be the best deal. Okay, that should not be the best deal, and hopefully they find something that works. There's been rumors that they've been waiting on Chicago to tell me what you want, what you really, really want to, put that Patrick Williams deal back. I guess they had to get an exception on I guess they'll get an exception on his injury. They can say, okay, we take him. He probably stay in Chicago rehab and then probably show up in Detroit after the rehab, or potentially after the season, whatever it is. They might just transfer his papers and he continues rehab in Detroit. Who knows? That makes no sense. He might as well continue to rehab who you've been rehabbing with, right? Now, does this fight got anything to do with them rejecting the deal? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It has zero to do with rejecting the deal. The deal wasn't strong enough. The Lakers know it. You know, if Russ would have played well, if Kendrick Nunn been playing well, and Horton Taylor Tucker been playing well, they was trending towards All-Star status. They would be winning. They wouldn't be trying to trade them. So yeah, they can't pull that sucker ish. They can't pull that sucker ish on us. And also the league always feel a certain type of way about LeBron and Rich Paul controlling it. So he got that going against him. Whoever gonna do him a favor and take on Westbrook, that's gonna be interesting. That is going to be interesting. Because the only deal I really see is John Wall, and it's pretty much around the same thing. I think John Wall has a clutch gene. I think John Wall is fresh and healthy enough to make those bunnies and those layups Westbrook were missing. But I think most of those bunnies that Westbrook been missing, I think he got a lot of pressure. He got a lot of, apparently, according to Undisputed, he got a lot of ads, a lot of commercials, a lot of, all that going, and playing at home is a different type of beast. And even Westbrook, who been MVP and triple-double champion king and all that, even though what he went through, it's still different, bro. And that's why a lot of people don't like going back home. It's distraction, it's tickets. You get in trouble running with the wrong crowd. So you see a lot of guys you know what I'm saying, fathers and father figures or mothers don't want to come back play home. And everybody, I say this, man, it's been kind of on my mind. A lot of people say that, hip hop, somebody shouldn't come back home, or more rappers die, or, hip hop, rapper, R&B, most people involved in hip hop, the culture of hip hop, they die, when they come back home, or they in trouble when they come back home, right? They say that. But going back home is more detrimental. It's more detrimental to country singers, to musicians, other musicians, movie stars. Going back home is dangerous. It is. Going back home is dangerous for anybody. Remember it. Going back home is dangerous for anybody. Don't forget that. It's dangerous for any and everybody. Most conflict happen at home, in your hometown. So got to remember that. So I don't, looking at it in its totality and stuff of that nature, it's tough for us playing at the crib. But like I said, February 10th is coming. The times are rolling, and we got to see, what they cook up on the table. John Collins defeats the purpose. Then you say if you get John Collins, then replacing Jerami Grant with a Jerami Grant. So Jabari Smith is off the table. Paulo Barash, Barancho is off the table. So then you're looking more at Jalen Durham to fill the middle. That don't make no sense going to replace a strength with a strength, or what I'm saying? It makes no sense. And then you putting Collins there, and then he messing with Bay. So it's the same type of player. They 3-4 tweeners in today's NBA. They 3-4 tweeners. So think about that for a minute. If you're going to trade them, you got to get assets for the future, or you got to fill in a hole. And right now, the two holes in this situation are what? A guy in the middle, and a point guard. It's right now. Everybody say, the point guard take away from Kate, it won't. Steve Nash can take away from, Sean Marion, Joe Johnson. He helped get Joe Johnson, Sean Marion, and Tim Thomas money. And you know what I'm saying? They take away from Amari Stoudemire. Jason Kidd only made Keith Van Horn when Richard Jefferson got there. Todd McCullum, Kenyon Martin, and he deserved a 30 for 30. Even though he was on the losing end of that, no other point guard has carried a team to the championship with less, or in the finals. I even go in NCAA. Any guard, amateur in high school, I can't speak on high school, but college and professionals, Jason Kidd deserved 30 for 30. You know what I'm saying? Carrying the Nets to the finals. That's just what it'd be called. Jason Kidd carried the Nets. He did. Kidd was the most valuable player in those 2 years. I know he didn't get MVP, but he was. let's speak facts. He was. He was the most valuable player those 2 years. And somebody like Kidd, Nash, Stockton, a true point, Mark Jackson, they're not gonna hurt you. Chauncey Billups, when he came to Detroit, they learn when they need to score, and they know when they need to facilitate, and they leaders. In the line, the Pistons need a leader that know to do exactly what Chauncey learned from they know to do exactly knows what to do, how Chauncey learned how to run the floor. It wasn't about scoring. Chauncey was an attacker. Chauncey was an attacker. Chauncey was an attacker. Before that, and then he learned to play point guard in Detroit. That had never happened again in sports. You take Rip Hamilton, you trade Jerry Stackhouse. A lot of people like, man, what are they doing? You know, Mr. Fill It Up, Jerry Stackhouse was dropping 50 balls and all types of stuff. But they knew that Stackhouse was about getting his numbers. And Rip Hamilton was going to be a willing defender. He was going to fit within the system. He was a team player. One of the best moves in sports history that I talked about. Rip, Chauncey, Ben for Chucky Atkins. A lot of people like, what? Chucky Atkins was a crowd favorite, was a fan favorite. And they knew exactly where to put those pieces at. So it's important. That won't be recreated. But like it or not, the Pistons got some pieces in place. Like it or not, the Pistons got some pieces in place. Now, the number one question is, how are they feeling in? You got K, you got Bay, however you feel about him. He's a starting caliber in this league. You got Isaiah Stewart. He's a rotational right now caliber star in this league, player in this league. So now you got Jerami Grant, a trade asset. You got Kelly Olynyk, who's, at best, a marginable starter and can rotate and teach these guys. So now you fill it in with trading Jalen Smith, bring it up Jabari Smith Jr. You know what I'm saying? Flipping some of these assets with Jerami Grant, Bay, some future picks or the Thunder. I mean Thunder, but this is an OKC pick, and going to get DeJounte Murray, going to get Tyrese Halliburton. That happened. You turn around and then you take Miles Bridges. They got a lot of avenues. They got a lot of avenues that they can take. It's just about pushing the right buttons. And sometimes we don't see what they see. And most time being Detroit fans, Lions, Pistons, and everything else, they, for the most part in our history, we've been right. We've been right. We've been right more times than not. More times than not. We've been right. So hopefully they make the moves. And like when I was looking at Brad Holmes, some of the moves he made last year, and I said, man, he need to go get Levi Anthony in his rookie. And most of us love Purcell, and he took them both back to back. People say he loved those Pac-12 players. I mean, that's probably where he scouted at and got the most success. Jared Goff, But and those Big East players, Pitt, Syracuse, Belafano, but but that's another story for another day. But yeah, they gotta do what's best for them, man. And like I said, the two biggest. But if you're talking about the biggest holes overall, to me, a point guard. The reason point guard more essential for the Pistons right now than a big fella is simply because they're harder to find true points. People say you could turn Cade into a point. You could turn him into a point forward. You could, but do you really want to alter somebody's game that's that young? Let them flourish. So if you get a DeJounte Murray, you get a Halliburton or something like that, you know what I'm saying? Cool. Bring in a Jalen Smith, spend some future capital, some capital for him and the player, bet. And let them grow. So like I said before, it is what it is. They got to fill some needs, but this one didn't feel a need in this trade. Kendrick Nunn, he ain't healthy, but could he be a true point? Absolutely. He more of a scoring guy, but I think he developed enough. It's just the health. I think if he balled, he would help the Lakers. He'd be more of a catch and shoot guy, but wouldn't mind be bringing him in, but not for Jerami Grant in a future 2027 from Taylor Horton Tucker. No, so we need to fill the need and really don't have nothing they willing to give. But yeah, let me know what you girls and guys think. I do appreciate you guys for coming on, for supporting the channel. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. If you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request, all my social media links description. Twitter's the fastest way. Then Facebook, then Instagram, then Twitter. All my links there. If you want a video request, go ahead and holler at me. I accommodate you. A lot of people will ask for them. I accommodate them faster, real fast. So real fast. But other than that, if you want to financially support the channel, Cash App, CJ Good 313, Venmo, CJ Good 313, PayPal link in the description. All my social media links there. Twitter's the fastest way. Then Facebook, then Instagram. The best way to donate: thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications. Increase your chance to get notifications. Appreciate the love and support. Check Detroit Pistons Talk Players for more videos like this.